All right, so let's talk Cavs and Celtics, huh? Sunday night. Can you imagine? You're down 12 going into the fourth against the Celtics, the reigning champs, no less.
Yeah, talk about pressure.
Definitely not the position you want to be in. Especially what was just a couple weeks ago. They handed the Cavs their first L of the season.
Yep, same two teams. So yeah, rematch, tons of hype. Eastern Conference Giants, right? Clash of the Titans, all that.
And it felt like it too, right?
Yeah.
Like for a good chunk of the game, you kind of felt like, uh-oh, here we go again. Celtics going to run away with it. But then, man, that fourth quarter.
Things got interesting.
Interesting. That was a comeback for the ages. Cavs pull it out, 115 to 111. What got me, though, was the energy shift. Like night and day from the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's like they flipped a switch or found another gear, something, completely different team.
Donovan Mitchell especially. Pretty quiet night up to that point. Then, boom, explodes in the fourth.
He was on fire. No other way to put it.
20 of his 35 points came in those last 12 minutes. 6 for 6 from the field. Hit, what, 4 threes in a row there?
Unreal. But honestly, it wasn't just the scoring. The way he took control, the decisions he was making, the leadership. Man, you could feel it.
And, got to give the Celtics credit. Even without Jaylen Brown and Derek White, they didn't back down. Tatum still dropped 33, and Peyton Pritchard, wow, coming out of nowhere with 24.
They fought hard, no question. But once the Cavs found their rhythm, it was like contagious.
Totally. But it really was a tale of two halves, right? Like I said, they were struggling to find their footing early on. Then that fourth quarter hits and everything just clicks. Was it Mitchell catching fire? Or was there something more strategically that shifted?
I mean, Mitchell going off was huge, obviously, but I think the Cavs' defensive changes in the second half were just as important, maybe even more so. Like, they started double-teaming Tatum a lot more aggressively, forcing the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they got way better at switching on screens, really disrupted the Celtics' flow on offense.
I remember a couple possessions. Tatum was clearly frustrated, couldn't get a clean look. And on the other end, Darius Garland. Kind of a quiet 22 points, but he was running the show beautifully.
Exactly. Garland being so steady, that gave Mitchell the space to take those tougher shots, find his rhythm, which, speaks to the Cavs' depth, too, down Jared Allen, and they still outplayed the Celtics, who were shorthanded themselves, don't forget.
So, big picture, where does this win put the Cavs? I mean, they just went toe-to-toe with arguably the best team in the league, battled back when everyone was counting them out.
Throw some gas on that. Are they contenders?
Right.
Fire, doesn't it? That resilience, the way they adjusted, that's championship material, no doubt.
But like we said, both teams missing key guys. So how much can we really take away from this one game?
Right. That's the question, isn't it? What happens when both teams are at full strength? Celtics, Cavs in the playoffs, everyone healthy.
And that would be something to see.
Oh, no doubt. The whole league would be glued to that series, me included. Guess we'll have to wait and see how things shake out, huh?
A lot of basketball left to play. But man, what a game.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, so we're diving into another exciting game from this week.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm still a little bit surprised by this Orlando Magic team.
They're fun.
Yeah, and they're making a statement.
Absolutely.
This isn't just a fluke, right? This is 6 straight wins. And we're looking at their December 1st matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, they beat the Nets just 3 days before this.
They did.
And they did it again. We're going based off this Associated Press recap.
Right.
And I was reading through it, and honestly, like, the thing that stood out to me most wasn't even the score.
Yeah.
It was the way that they won.
It is impressive.
It was the defense.
Yeah.
It was the hustle.
You're playing like a completely different team.
It really was. So let's get into it. All right. They win this one 100-92.
Yeah.
Pretty decisive victory, but like I said, it's the way they got there.
It is.
And we always talk about young teams,
right,
and their potential, but potential only gets you so far.
You got to see it translate,
right? And especially on the defensive end, that's where you see it. It's like the effort, right?
Well, you need that consistent effort, and young teams, sometimes they got the talent, but bringing it every single night, that's the tough part.
Absolutely.
And they held the Nets, and we all know the Nets can score. The Nets are a good team.
Second best three-point shooting team in the league.
In the league. Held them to 25.8% from three.
That's rough. And it's not just like one guy having an off night.
Right.
This is like shutting down their whole system.
It's a team effort, and that's what's so impressive.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what do you attribute that to? Is it coaching? Is it just the players buying in? Like, what's the secret sauce here?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
You got Coach Mosley, he's instilling this defensive mindset, right?
Yeah.
He's really emphasizing communication, discipline.
Yeah.
And then you have the players, they're buying in, they're hungry.
They're young, they're energetic, they're athletic.
They want to prove themselves. They want to win.
Exactly. And it's translating onto the court.
It is.
They're switching effectively on pick and rolls, which we've seen them struggle with in the past.
Right.
They're closing out on shooters. They're not giving up easy baskets. They're playing physical without fouling.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so
Yeah.
there's got to be a trade-off here, right?
Well, there's one thing.
Because if you're playing this aggressive,
Yeah.
you're going to have some mistakes.
You're going to have some turnovers.
And they had 22 turnovers in this game.
They did.
That's a season high. Is that a byproduct of this new defensive intensity? Like, are they trying to do too much?
You know it's possible, right? When you're playing that aggressively, you're going to force some passes.
Right.
You're going to gamble. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They're also creating turnovers.
That's true.
They're getting steals, they're forcing bad shots, and they're cleaning up the glass. 52 to 33 rebound advantage.
That's a huge difference.
Huge.
And you know those second chance points?
Yeah, they really add up.
They really do.
Yeah.
So they're giving up some points off turnovers, but they're getting more points off those offensive rebounds.
I guess Coach Mosley's thinking is, we'll live with the turnovers if we're getting those extra possessions.
And if we're playing this lockdown defense,
Exactly.
it's a gamble, and it's paying off.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be working so far. Now, I gotta say, reading this recap, the first half sounds like it was a nail-biter.
It was back and forth.
14 lead changes,
Mm-hmm.
11 ties. Like, neither team could pull away.
Right. I mean, it shows you the Nets, they're not going to roll over.
Right.
They're a championship caliber team.
They're going to fight. They're going to make runs. And they did.
Exactly.
But to the Magic's credit,
Yeah.
every time the Nets would go on a run,
They'd answer.
the Magic would answer right back.
It'd come right back at them.
And a lot of that was thanks to Franz Wagner.
He was him.
He was all over the court. 20 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks.
filling up the stat sheet. It was almost like, okay, we're turning the ball over a little bit. No problem. I got this.
I'll do it all.
I'll carry the team. And that's what you want to see from your young star.
You want to see that leadership, that ability to step up when the team needs him.
Absolutely. But it wasn't a one-man show.
Right.
Let's give some love to Goga Bitadze. Double-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds.
Yeah, he was a beast on the board.
Tavius Caldwell-Pope, 16 points, knocking down those shots.
Yep, he was hitting from outside.
Of course, Wendell Carter Jr., 14 points, 7 rebounds, holding it down in the paint.
He was a force inside, absolutely.
So, it's easy to focus on Wagner
Right.
because he had this flashy stat line. But
It was a team effort.
it was everybody contributing. And that's what makes this Magic team so dangerous, right?
Because if they can get that consistent production from everyone on the roster,
It's not just relying on one guy.
it makes them so much harder to guard, and it takes the pressure off Wagner.
Exactly. Now, on the Nets side, we got to give them their due. Cam Johnson led the way with 26 points.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Dennis Schroeder, 20 points, 7 assists.
Yeah.
They didn't go down without a fight.
No, they didn't.
And they actually made a run in the fourth quarter, even took the lead at one point.
Yeah, they showed their experience, their championship pedigree.
But the Magic didn't panic.
Yeah, they didn't fold.
They clamped down defensively,
Just key stops.
forced those turnovers, and they ended the game on a 17-9 run.
Yeah, they closed it out strong.
Really impressive stuff. So looking ahead, the Magic, they're on the road to face the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Tough matchup.
And the Nets, they've got the Bulls. So, based on what we've seen from the Magic so far,
Yeah.
what are you seeing as the biggest challenges, the biggest opportunities for them in these next couple games?
Well, the Knicks, that's a tough place to play, Madison Square Garden, right? It's a hostile environment.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a real test of their road resilience.
Mhm.
Can they handle that pressure? Can they stay focused? That's going to be key.
Yeah. And then with the Bulls, on paper, you'd think the Magic should be able to handle it.
Yeah, especially if they play like they did against the Nets.
Right. If they bring that defensive intensity,
But, it's the NBA.
anything can happen.
Any given night, any team can beat any other team.
Absolutely. But it's hard not to get excited about this Magic team.
They're fun to watch.
They really are. I mean, are we witnessing the start of something special here? Is this a Cinderella story in the making, or is this just a hot streak?
Well, it's still early.
Yeah.
We got to see if they can sustain this over the long haul. But
Yeah.
they're showing all the right signs. They have a clear identity now. They're playing with a purpose,
A defensive identity,
a defensive identity.
which is, That's what wins championships.
It does. It does.
They've got this young core that's growing more confident with every win.
Exactly.
I think the biggest question is, can they maintain this level of play against the tougher competition in the East?
Right, because they're going to be facing those top teams soon enough.
They are. And that's going to be the real test.
That's going to show us what they're really made of.
And that's what we'll be watching for.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye on the Magic, folks.
This is a team to watch.
This is going to be a fun season.
It is.
All right, that's our deep dive for today.
Great breakdown.
We'll catch you next time.
See y'all.
All right, so Raptors fans,
Yeah.
let's talk about this game last night.
Yeah.
Huge win over the Heat.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all a little bit nervous after that.
Oh, absolutely.
That close one in Miami just a couple of nights before.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, anyone listening, like let's take a deep dive here. Let's imagine, you're getting ready to, be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow morning. Or maybe you're just trying to sound like you really, really know what you're talking about, watching the game last night.
Yeah.
Let's break this down. Let's start with R.J. Barrett.
Absolutely.
I mean, 37 points. Come on.
Unbelievable.
This is not a one-off thing. He's been on fire at home.
Yeah, this is three straight games now, over 30 points at Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, and it's not just like, chucking up shots and hoping some of them go in.
Exactly. He's been so efficient. 15 for 20?
From the field?
From the field. Like, you talk about his three-pointers, but what I was really impressed with was his mid-range game.
Yeah.
Especially in that second half, the Heat were really trying to take away his drives to the basket.
Right.
And he countered so beautifully with those pull-up jumpers. Like, they just had no answer for it.
So, I mean, Miami's defense is going to have to adjust right.
Yeah.
Maybe even double-team him at some point.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do? Do you risk leaving other guys open? That's a tough call for Spoelstra.
No, let's move on to Scotty Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, almost back-to-back triple-doubles.
Yeah, almost.
I mean, feel just short.
Just short.
But 23 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, this guy.
He's really becoming that Swiss Army now, if we all hoped he would be.
He is.
If you think back to last season, a lot of his offense was just driving to the basket.
Right.
Now he's pulling up for mid-range jumpers. He's dishing out no-look passes. Like, every game, it seems like he's adding something new to his repertoire.
It's like he's taking a little bit of, LeBron's passing.
Yeah.
A little bit of Durant's, scoring versatility.
He's like this amazing basketball collage, right? Just taking bits and pieces from all the greats.
It's incredible to watch. And speaking of dominant performances, we got to talk about the battle down low.
Oh, yeah.
Poeltl had a solid double-double.
Yeah.
For the Raptors. But Bam Adebayo on the other side was an absolute beast on the boards.
Oh, my goodness. 20 rebounds.
And one rebound.
Nearly matching his career high.
Yeah.
And it's funny, that career high also came against the Raptors in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
I mean, a lot of those rebounds weren't just, your typical box-out rebounds. He was grabbing those contested boards.
Yeah.
The ones that require sheer willpower and athleticism. I think the Raptors are going to have to figure out a way to either box him out more effectively or send an extra body his way, because he was just cleaning up down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, a big part of this win, too, was Miami's three-point shooting.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, or lack thereof. Like, they were so quiet in this one.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back to, that win in Miami a couple of nights ago. Like, they were raining threes in that one.
They couldn't miss.
So, I mean, what happened? What changed?
I actually rewatched the first quarter of both games just to kind of compare and contrast.
Yeah.
And in that loss the other night, the Raptors were just giving the Heat shooters way too much space.
Yeah.
This time around, they were aggressively closing out, forcing them to either put the ball on the floor or take contested shots. And I think Nick Nurse really made that a point of emphasis.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, there was this huge run, this 13-2 run by the Raptors late in the third quarter, mostly thanks to Barrett.
Absolutely.
And, watching it live, you could feel the energy shift in Scotiabank Arena.
Oh, yeah. Momentum shifts are huge in basketball, and that run just completely deflated Miami. Even when they made that run to try to close it out late in the fourth, they never quite recovered from that punch in the gut.
So final score, Raptors 119, Heat 116.
Yeah.
Big win at home.
Big win.
So what's the big takeaway here? Like, can the Raptors sustain this level of play?
Yeah.
Especially offensively.
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Barrett continues to play like this, and Barnes keeps adding new layers to his game.
Yeah.
They become a very, very tough team to beat, but they can't rely solely on those two.
Right.
They're going to need consistent contributions from the rest of the roster as well.
Yeah. And on the Miami side, can they solve this Adebayo problem? Like, if they can't keep him off the boards,
Yeah.
they're going to be in trouble in this series.
And can Spoelstra figure out how to slow down Barrett? Double teaming him opens up opportunities for other guys, but does he just live with Barrett getting his points and try to shut everyone else down?
Right.
These are the decisions that,
Yeah.
make or break a series, make or break a coach.
That's the beauty of basketball, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about those adjustments, those back and forth strategies.
The chess match within the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, next time you're talking about this game with your friends, remember, it's not just about the points and rebounds.
Right.
It's about, the chess game that's happening within the game.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here.
And, let's see what happens in game 3.
I can't wait.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. So we're diving into this Grizzlies game from Sunday.
Okay.
The Grizzlies and the Pacers.
Yeah.
And just looking at this AP recap here. Wow. What a game.
Yeah, this one was definitely one to watch.
It was a real nail biter.
For sure, on paper, it looked like the Pacers had it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially after that first half. I mean,
Yeah.
19 points down at halftime.
Yeah.
That's a huge deficit,
A big hole. Yeah.
to climb out of.
Yeah.
Were the Pacers just that much better in the first half? What was going on?
I mean, they were shooting lights out like 60%.
Wow.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah.
It was really a team effort, but I think Andrew Nembhard's return from
Pumped his
injury was really, impactful there.
Yeah.
He had 14 points before halftime.
Oh, wow.
Just really energized them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't play the second half, was it?
He was on limited minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
he didn't get re-injured or anything?
No.
Okay, good.
Easing him back in after that knee inflammation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 19 points.
I know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did the Grizzlies even pull that off?
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible?
I think the third quarter,
Okay.
they just came out with a totally different energy.
Yeah.
And they outscored the Pacers 40-23.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a huge swing.
it's a huge swing.
Yeah.
And Morant has been playing well lately.
Yeah.
He really seemed to find his groove in that third quarter.
Yeah.
Driving to the basket, drawing fouls,
Yes.
getting assists.
Mhm.
I mean, it was like a clinic.
Yeah, and Wells, too.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier in the season, he was kind of struggling
Yeah.
from three-point range.
Right.
But he came alive.
Yeah, he hit like 3 straight threes.
Wow.
I mean, it just changed the whole momentum of the game.
Totally.
The Pacers just
They lost all that.
they just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. So it sounds like it was more than just a couple of guys
Oh, yeah.
having a good night.
It was a whole team effort. Like
Yeah.
everyone flipped a switch.
Yeah.
They were playing with this urgency and focus that you could just feel.
Yeah.
Like the energy in the arena completely shifted.
Well, let's talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. for a second.
Okay.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
He was incredible.
25 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Is he becoming the defensive anchor for the Grizzlies
I think so.
that they've been looking for?
Yeah, he was a force in this
Yeah.
game. I mean, he really dominated.
Oh, and it's interesting because
Yeah.
it sounds like the Pacers actually had a more
They did.
balanced scoring attack.
Yeah, they had 6 players in
Yeah.
double figures.
Okay.
Mathurin actually led the team with 19 points
Oh, wow.
and 9 rebounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that makes it even crazier that Halliburton only had 8 points.
I know, right?
I mean, the guy was averaging 25.5 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on a roll.
Coming into this game, what happened?
I think the Grizzlies just really figured out how to shut him down.
Yeah.
Their defense was all over him. He just couldn't find his shot.
Right.
3 for 10 from the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got a team like the Pacers
Right.
who have got this really balanced attack.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies, they shut down their star player.
Yeah.
And they completely shut them down in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even tell us? Like, what's the takeaway there?
I think it just goes to show that, basketball,
Yeah.
it's not just about individual talent.
Yeah.
It's about, teamwork,
Yeah.
strategy,
Right.
and I think most importantly, the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Like, you got to respond to what your opponent's doing.
Absolutely.
You know?
And the Grizzlies, they just seem to have that
They do.
mental toughness.
Yeah.
They don't give up.
No.
What impressed you the most about this game?
I think it was just the way they embraced the challenge. They were down big,
Yeah.
but they never gave up.
Right.
They used it as fuel, to come back even stronger.
Yeah.
It really makes you think,
Yeah.
how much does momentum and belief really play a role,
Yeah.
in a team's success?
For our listeners, I think
Yeah.
what's cool about this game is that it just shows you that
Mm-hmm.
anything can happen.
Absolutely.
Like, you can never count a team out,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter how big the deficit is.
Right.
It all comes down to adjustments and momentum shifts
Mm-hmm.
and just, sometimes a little bit of magic.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the Pacers,
Yeah.
they're headed to Toronto next,
Yeah, they are.
and the Grizzlies are going to face the Mavericks.
Yep. Should be some good games.
Yeah. So we'll see if the Grizzlies can keep this
Uh-huh.
momentum going,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see if the Pacers can bounce back
Yeah.
from this tough loss.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time.
See you, okay.